Welcome back. Well, here's a question. Are you one of the millions of people addicted to podcasts? Back in the old days, families gathered round the wireless at night to listen to their favourite radio serials.
The Lux Radio Theatre brings you The Suspect.
Now, it's all about podcasts, and Aussies love them. As a nation, we're downloading hundreds of millions of podcasts a year, and top of the list are true crime tales.
Well, he was a teacher at the school. He came to the school in 1979.
From the inside stories of some of our country's biggest murder mysteries to gritty cases from further afield, when it comes to podcasts, true crime is truly big business.
Well, to give us the lowdown on some of the best true crime podcasts, avid listener, Shelley Horton from Nine Honey is here. Shelley, good morning to you.
Good morning.
For those who don't listen to podcasts yet, very quickly, tell us how they can get started.
Look, it's very easy. If you've got a smartphone, most of them have a podcast app already installed and you can just do a search and download. If you don't, you can go online and download. Most of them are free.
Yeah. Let's start with why you think crime is so appealing to so many.
Look, seriously, I think we've got to look at our Ned Kelly past. We've got to look at the fact, I think we're a nation of Nancy Drews who think there's a chance we could solve that crime.
Yeah.
We're all convicts.
Absolutely. But I think, too, with a podcast, it's in your ears, it's quite intimate, so you get quite involved.
Let's run through your top picks, starting with The Teacher's Pet.
The Teacher's Pet is by an investigative journalist from The Australian called Hedley Thomas, and it is going gangbusters. It's had 19 million downloads worldwide, the most popular podcast in Australia. And it basically follows a 36-year-old cold case of Lynn Dawson. And at the time, all fingers were pointed towards the husband because 2 days after his wife went missing, he moved in his 16-year-old student/girlfriend into the house. However, he was never charged. So this is now the unraveling of the case, and the police have now reopened it. So it's very interesting.
Do you know what's odd? Is that this case, and I think they resonate all around the world, obviously when it's selling all around the world, the true crime, we're fascinated by true crime and how evil we can all be.
Absolutely, and also that it can be happening in your backyard. So
just over the fence.
Just over the fence.
And that story had all the elements, which is why it has resonated around the world.
Absolutely.
That podcast has outdone Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah,
I mean, it's phenomenal.
It is actually incredible. And I quite like it because the way he does the interviews, it's quite raw, so you'll feel like you're hearing the information for the first time.
Okay, what if we want more Australian crime?
Look, I love Michelle Laurie. So she has a podcast called Australian True Crime Podcast. She and Emily Webb, who is a true crime author, have put this together. Michelle is obsessed with true crime and her passion comes out in these podcasts. What they do is they actually take on a case and they'll interview the homicide squad detective or the rape squad and actually just pick it apart. But they are focusing not on the big cases, but just the small suburban cases. Again, not in my backyard.
I remember a couple of years ago, David Campbell raving to me about Serial.
Yes.
Now, this is still huge,
It's huge. It's the most popular podcast in the world. It's had 250 million downloads. Now, the first 2 seasons looked at a particular case. The new season launches in 2 days' time. Everyone, mark it in your diaries. But this is going to be very different. What they're looking at this time is a number of cases within the Cleveland court system. So I think it'll have a lot more depth and a bit more interest for those who might have just been done with the one story.
I've heard good things about Unravel, the ABC.
Unravel's on the ABC, and it's one of those brilliant podcasts. It's taking a cold case from a few years ago where an Aboriginal boy was hit by a train. They originally ruled it as a suicide. However, there were too many inconsistencies, like no blood and things like that. So it's actually an Aboriginal journalist called Alan Clark who has taken on the case and has really been working on it for 5 years. He's had it reopened. He's doing incredible things. And because of his Aboriginal heritage, he's got incredible access to the community. And I'm loving just hearing their voices and hearing what they think about it.
Why do you think podcasts have really taken off? Is it sort of harking back to the simplicity that we're all enjoying?
I think part of it is that your podcasts are often in your ears, so it's very intimate.
Yeah.
It's very like you cut out the rest of the world. I think that we get a lot of bombardment from radio and there's no ads and there's no things like that. So I think it might be people who are just wanting to slow it down a little bit, which is a bit of a trend at the moment.
Do you know what I worry about? And that is that there's no space now just for quiet. I mean, every single second of our day is filled with noise. And I worry that when
Carl, seriously, I've got friends who they want the podcast on while they're in the shower.
Yeah.
Like, so that is constant information. I completely agree. A little bit of quiet wouldn't go astray.
Listen to this, everyone.
It's freaking me out. It's freaking me out. What is that?
Thanks, Shelley. Great stuff. Up next,
you,
breaking
Shelley.
news out of Melbourne, where there's been a fatal